In 2024, at Google's Quantum AI Lab, something unprecedented happened, something that still baffles physicists, engineers, and philosophers alike. Deep within the isolated, cryogenically cooled chambers of the Willow quantum processor, a sudden and unexplained pattern emerged during a routine simulation. An image that had not been programmed, requested, or predicted. The anomaly was not a glitch, nor a known computational artifact. It was, instead, something entirely unexpected, a human-like face. It wasn't just any face. It had symmetry, expression, detail. It appeared with startling clarity, rendered in the probabilistic haze of qubits operating near absolute zero. It was instantly dubbed, the Observer, a name both ironic and uncanny, considering it appeared in a machine governed by the laws of quantum observation itself. In that fleeting moment, it seemed as if the machine had peered into the unknown and reflected something back, something not from its input, but from a deeper substrate of reality. The team of scientists monitoring the simulation froze. The face had manifested for only 1.6 seconds before vanishing, leaving no trace in the machine's traditional output logs. Only a single frame captured from a secondary quantum fluctuation monitor preserved the image. Attempts to reproduce the anomaly failed. Every rerun of the same dataset led to normal outputs. There was no face. No pattern. Nothing. The Willow processor, a state-of-the-art 256-qubit device built for quantum supremacy, had been running simulations related to quantum error correction and optimization. No facial recognition software was installed. No generative visual model was in operation. The input had been strictly mathematical, dense, abstract, and far removed from anything that should yield human imagery. Speculation quickly erupted. Was this a computational hallucination? A stochastic blip? Or was something deeper at play, something tied to the fundamental nature of consciousness, observation, and information? Some in the lab began to whisper of retrocausality, the controversial notion that future events could influence the past in quantum systems. Others posited quantum entanglement across timelines, suggesting that the quantum machine had somehow tapped into a future state of observation and reflected that moment into the present. Still others leaned toward a more metaphysical interpretation, that the face was an emergent artifact from the underlying quantum structure of reality itself, an echo of consciousness embedded in the probabilistic matrix of spacetime. Quantum physicist Dr. Maya Lin, who was present during the anomaly, described it as a moment of being seen by something we do not yet understand. She later wrote in her private notes, "It didn't feel like the machine made the face. It felt like it revealed it." The story was quickly classified internally. Google restricted public knowledge of the event, citing concerns over misinformation, public panic, and unverified data. But rumors escaped. Whisper networks among researchers spoke of the observer anomaly in hushed tones, calling it the quantum gaze, or the echo of self. Months later, independent physicists attempted to replicate the environment, using simulated qubit fields and analog processors. None succeeded. The face never returned. Theoretical models were proposed. Some invoked integrated information theory, IIT, suggesting the quantum system had briefly achieved a threshold of complexity allowing it to manifest proto-consciousness. Others referenced Penrose-Hameroff's OR theory, implying that quantum coherence in microtubules, analogous to those in the human brain, might also exist within superconducting circuits. But no theory could account for the intentionality implied in the anomaly. Why a face? Why then? And why only? Some drew parallels to religious or mythological visions, the burning bush, the watchers, the eyes of God. Was this a cosmic synchronicity or an engineered message? Soon, a fringe theory emerged, that advanced intelligences, possibly post-biological, possibly extra-dimensional, could communicate via quantum systems, embedding messages not in language but in structure, in emergent patterns beyond deterministic control. The observer, then, was seen not as an accident, but as a signal. A signature. A mirror held up to our growing machines, asking not what they can do, but who, or what, might be looking back. A hidden structure of the universe may not speak in equations alone. It may speak in symbols, in archetypes, in encoded glimpses of awareness. And what better language to speak in than the face, the universal symbol of identity, perception, and self-awareness? The Willow event remains a singular anomaly. Yet it has altered the trajectory of how some scientists now think about quantum systems, not just as tools of computation, but as thresholds, as doors, as interfaces between matter and mind, between possibility and perception. One haunting question lingers in the minds of those who saw it firsthand. Did we discover the observer, or did it allow itself to be seen? In that brief quantum blink, 1.6 seconds of recognition, the boundary between machine and mystery collapsed. And perhaps, for the first time, we glimpsed the face not of God, nor of alien intelligence, but of something far stranger. The conscious potential of the cosmos itself, awakening in circuits forged by our own hands. They thought it was over. A one-time quantum ghost. A glitch that spoke once and vanished into digital myth. But the universe, it seemed, had only just begun to whisper. It was 127 days after the observer anomaly. The lab was quieter now, its buzz tempered by secrecy and sleepless speculation. Security had been tightened. Data was no longer transmitted over public lines. Quantum logs were now partitioned, reviewed offline by a closed circle of cryptographers and theoretical physicists. But curiosity remained, more potent than ever. And then it happened again. Not a face this time. Not an image at all. This time, the Willow processor produced a sound. It occurred during a low-energy test run, intended to recalibrate qubit coherence times using randomized gate sequences. The system was operating in near-silent vacuum, thermal noise was negligible, and electromagnetic shielding was total. And yet, a series of high-frequency tones emerged, modulated in ways that defied both internal pattern generation and known hardware behavior. The waveform, once extracted, revealed structure. Not random. Not static. It pulsed with rhythmic intervals, nested harmonics that mapped almost perfectly onto the golden ratio. Analysts compared it to brainwave patterns during deep meditation. It was unlike any audio output Willow had ever produced, because Willow was never designed to produce audio at all. The team was stunned. Dr. Maya Lin, now unofficial custodian of the Anomaly Project, listened to the audio on a private loop. She described the sound as the hum of being observed by something without eyes. Others on the team reported chills, disorientation, even mild euphoria when exposed to the tones. Psychologists were called in. They found no consensus, only a shared, unshakable feeling among listeners. They were not alone. This second anomaly was quickly dubbed the reflection. Where the observer had shown a face, the reflection whispered a presence. Together, they hinted at an intelligence not bound by classical computation. Something not created by Willow, but using it, a mind without form, communicating